A silly zebra started getting tangled up under the giraffe's feet. Maybe she wanted to play with him, but it's clear that the big animal doesn't like this attention at all. The giraffe, without thinking twice, found a solution. He delivered a crushing blow with his head, first stretching his neck like a string. Unhappy and offended, the zebra simply lowered her head and walked away. And this giraffe decided to check out what tasty treat these two zebras were eating. When he approached, one of the zebras immediately stepped aside while the other started kicking and trying to protect the food from the giant. But these attempts look very funny and ridiculous. It turns out that seagulls steal not only food but can easily snatch your phone as well. Be careful. I was simply shocked by what I saw, how this female hare hides her babies. You really have to be clever to come up with something like that. Her nest is right next to the road. The female hare completely buries her babies in the nest with sand, and when it's time to feed them, she digs them up, feeds them, and then buries them again. In rural areas, it's very important to have a guard dog to alert people and scare off predators. This bear wandered onto human territory, but when the dog started barking at him, he got so scared that he quickly jumped over the plastic fence and ran away. And these horses decided to test the strength of their kicks against each other. Turning their backs to each other, the horses began to strike. The funniest part was when one of the horses tried to bite the other on the tail and narrowly avoided a kick to the head. But the wooden fence wasn't so lucky. In a local pond in North Carolina, a huge alligator was caught that had eaten a pet husky a few days earlier. In the interest of public safety, it was decided to sedate the alligator and take it far away from people. And this is just a terrifying moment. A huge bear came into the village. The driver decided to hide in the truck, but the bear climbed in after him. The man managed to dodge the attack at the very last moment. He was literally a hair's breadth from death. A camera installed in a birdhouse captured an interesting moment. A strange creature is trying to get into the birdhouse. In reality, it's a cunning cat that stuck its paw in there and tried to catch the bird. Fortunately, it didn't succeed, and after watching the video, people immediately came up with a protective mechanism for the birdhouse. The lion thought the buffalo was wounded or dead, but after checking with its paw, it immediately realized that it was just resting in the swamp. Well, the video quality here isn't great, but it's not hard to understand what's going on. A bear attacked a domestic cow in the pasture. It sank its teeth and claws into her, and despite the loud shouts of the herdsman, had no intention of letting go. But then, the shouting actually worked. The bear got scared, let go of the cow, and ran away. The cow couldn't get up right away, but I think she's fine. And this is a goat tree, quite a rare sight in Morocco. Why they all climbed up there and how they managed to keep their balance is a mystery. This incident was filmed in Florida, in the middle of a cypress swamp. A crocodile got stuck on a wooden bridge. He was smart enough to get out, but after moving forward a few meters, he ended up in the same trap again. The recording cuts off, but I think he managed to get off that sinister bridge. The cow couldn't get up right away, but I think she's fine. A mother duck led her ducklings to the edge of the bridge and is teaching them to jump into the water. At first, the little ones were afraid to jump from such a height, but then, one by one, they all successfully made it into the water. Bold seagulls are always on the lookout and can steal your food at any moment. But this man decided to teach the cheeky birds a lesson and scattered French fries behind the windshield of his car. You can see for yourself what happened next. Next is a very unusual and funny incident that was caught on a surveillance camera in Thailand. A group of people is sitting on the floor making some kind of preparations. A house cat carelessly approaches them from behind, holding a snake in its teeth. The silly cat brought the snake right to the people, causing real panic. A kamikaze bear got stuck at the top of an electric pole right next to the insulators and high voltage lines. Power company workers were called for help, but all they could do was try to persuade the young bear to come down. It seems he listened to them and slowly climbed down. It's amazing who managed to teach these sheep to walk in such a straight line. Seriously, it's like they're lined up with a ruler. And here's just an incredible moment. An owl was calmly flying with its prey in its talons. But out of nowhere, a hawk appears and attacks the owl, having spotted the food. The mouse immediately falls from the owl's talons, and the hawk, never taking its eyes off the prey, catches it right in the air and flies away. A perfect heist. Why this guy climbed into Kemo's enclosure is unclear, but he had to save himself from the aggressive bird by holding it by the neck. The woodpecker, it seems, really lost it. He smashed almost the entire tree into splinters. I think there must have been a lot of tasty larvae in the tree, otherwise he wouldn't have spent so much effort. It looks impressive, especially the pile of wood shavings under the tree. Here, a large herd of wild boars was caught on camera. The largest male, as a lesson, tossed a young boar into the air. It flew several meters, fell down, then got up and started feeding as if nothing had happened. And here's how easy it is to catch a seagull on the beach without even getting out of your car. All you need to do is offer these gluttons a few crackers and simply grab the seagull by hand. The funniest part is the terrified look in the bird's eyes. Take a look at what one little animal can do in a store. This kangal is clearly very restless. He senses a stranger on his territory, and now a wolf appears in the frame, already carrying some prey in its jaws. But to leave the yard, it needs to cross the area guarded by the chained kangal. The predator circled for a long time, unsure how to slip away, and then decides to make a break for it. But not so fast. The wolf immediately ends up in the kangal's jaws and gets a good beating. Abandoning its prey, the wolf barely managed to escape itself. The pelican was sizing up this capybara, but pretty quickly realized that it wouldn't be able to swallow such a large carcass. Yes, feeding bread to a seagull turned out to be a very bad idea. Well, these are the shots you saw in the video thumbnail. At first, I thought it was really a python that had wrapped its coils around a white car. But then I realized it was a beautiful staging. Perhaps during the filming of some movie. Oh, just look at how reliable it is. The shell of this turtle protects it from the alligator's sharp teeth. The crocodile tried to bite through it for a long time, but the turtle remained alive and well. You can see scratches from the sharp teeth on the shell, but it never broke. What happened next is unclear, but I think the crocodile has only one option: to swallow it whole. Here's a similar moment. The crocodile couldn't bite through the shell, and the funny turtle, feeling its freedom, immediately started hopping toward the water. The crocodile didn't bother to chase it. I think he thought it was some kind of inedible stone. Next comes a funny moment. A cow decided to drink from the pool but couldn't keep its balance and jumps into the water. The children weren't particularly frightened, and the cow rather quickly found her own way out. And these birds are called hooded grebes. and they probably have the most unusual and ridiculous mating dance you've ever seen. A hawk attacked the chicks, and to save her babies, the hen immediately rushed into the bushes. As you can see in the slow-motion footage, the hawk flew away empty-handed. If you can't overcome obstacles, a caring mother will always come to the rescue. And this caiman turtle got hopelessly stuck among the rocks on the shore of the pond. It took the man more than 15 minutes to free the poor thing, otherwise it would have certainly died of starvation. You have to be very careful with turtles like these. The tremendous bite force of its jaws can instantly deprive you of your fingers. I think you've already seen how amusingly shrews move around. They all hold on to each other as a family, and in this little train, none of them gets lost along the way. But here, something went wrong with their coordinated movement. They formed a ring around a stone and will now keep walking like this for a very long time. A man fishing noticed an owl that had gotten tangled and was hanging from a fishing line. After a successful rescue, the bird flies away. When he found himself in the path of an enraged rhinoceros with its calf, the man was saved by a tree, which he quickly climbed. Fortunately, the rhinos quickly realized there was no real danger and left. And this cat on the ice is just enjoying himself. Deer really can get into bodies of water. I've never seen such a crazy donkey before. It approached a huge alligator and decided to sniff it. The incident was captured by random witnesses in Florida. The foolish donkey was very lucky that the crocodile didn't attack, and in the end he left the toothy reptile alone. Next up is a parasitic shark you've definitely never heard of. It regularly feasts on the flesh of the largest sharks and marine mammals. Meet the Brazilian luminous shark. A fish the size of a herring that can give you a heart attack. All the ocean's alpha predators. Its teeth are no joke, and to get a meal it only needs to bite off a couple of chunks from some living creature. It opens its mouth wide, and this parasite delivers a powerful bite with its lower jaw, literally tearing off a chunk of flesh from a living creature. After grabbing its portion of meat, the little devil swims away, leaving deep wounds of considerable diameter and depth on the unfortunate animal's body, 5 to 10 centimeters. A crazed deer ran full speed into the front door of a residential house in the USA. The homeowner was simply in shock. Then the deer jumped into the basement and started destroying everything down there. While walking down the street, a man saw a trap in which a lynx had been caught. He decides to help and rescue the animal. The frightened lynx took a long time to leave the cage and just couldn't understand that it was already free. And this moment was captured from a hotel room in Florida. The person swimming doesn't even seem to notice that there's a large shark nearby. The predatory fish circled around, but the person was lucky that it lost interest and swam away. And these are the adventures of snake hunters in Louisiana. Here are the most interesting moments from their hunt. They simply walked around and lifted old boards made of slate. And under almost every such shelter, there was a snake. The number and variety of reptiles is truly astonishing. Did you know that snakes sometimes try to eat themselves? They can simply swallow their own tail. Most often this happens with king snakes, since in the wild they eat other snakes. It's interesting to wonder what would happen if you didn't help the snake in this situation, since the tail could start to be digested. This lioness got stuck in the middle of the river on a hippopotamus carcass. Very quickly she was surrounded by 40 crocodiles, so her life was in danger. The lioness realized she needed to escape, but jumping into the water with the crocodiles was very frightening. And then she fell into the water and quickly rushed toward the shore. The lioness was lucky that the crocodiles were busy with the hippopotamus. She managed to escape without any injuries. And here is a young male lion who decided to cross the Sabi River. Right in the middle of the crossing, he was caught up and attacked by a large crocodile. Diving underwater, the lion miraculously managed to dodge the jaws of this monster. He survived. For his beloved rams, the man decided to hang a punching bag in the yard. He never imagined that his pets would like this toy so much. The rams wouldn't leave the punching bag alone all day long. Travelers discovered a moose that had fallen through the snow and ice of a winter stream. He couldn't get out on his own, but after some work with a shovel, a path was made for the moose and he successfully got out and ran into the forest. A poor cow got stuck in a sewer with only her head sticking out. The farmers reacted instantly, and with the help of a tractor and a rope, they pulled out the frightened animal. The cow is fine. There are often comical incidents during sea fishing. And when you have a big fish on your hook and just need to pull it up to the side of the boat, that still doesn't mean you've caught it. Clever sharks attack the fish that have been caught, and if they can't manage to swallow the catch whole right away, they'll definitely bite off a big chunk. Take a look at how the reticulated glass frog guards her eggs with larvae inside. She has camouflaged herself and will stay with them until they hatch and fall into the water. Have you ever seen the nest of the smallest bird in the world? A hummingbird's nest is just as tiny as the bird itself. If you're lucky enough to find this miniature home, you'll see at most 2 eggs inside. Here's an interesting fact: small birds often build their nests near the nests of large predators. Anyone who wants to feast on the eggs or chicks will have to approach the nest under the watchful eye of an eagle or a falcon. The next moment shows how a polar bear got stuck on a cliff 9 meters from the top and spent several days there. When it became clear to the locals that he wouldn't be able to save himself, they began a rescue operation, but unfortunately things did not go according to plan. People prepared equipment, a boat, and even a helicopter. The bear was sedated with a dart, and while he was asleep, people climbed up to him on the cliff and began tying ropes to safely lower the animal down. Then everything started to go wrong. The ropes began to come undone, and the bear was left hanging by one paw 10 meters above the water. The sleeping bear falls into the water and the rescue operation takes on a new urgency. Now the team has to keep the bear's head above water so he can breathe. This time they managed to do it. The animal was successfully towed to shore. It's hard to believe that wild deer can get so used to people that they simply have no fear anymore. A super friendly deer, just like a big house dog. You can only see something like this in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. That's exactly where mobula rays live. In addition to being excellent swimmers, mobulas can fly. They often leap several meters out of the water, sometimes performing a whole series of jumps one after another. Watching this is a real pleasure because the numerous flips and pirouettes performed by the rays are a very rare sight. And in this sad moment, a small bird crashed into a house window. It couldn't take off again, so it was left lying on the ground. Just a few minutes later, a crow noticed it and quickly carried it off to eat. A chubby 200-kilogram crocodile lives in the home of an Indonesian family as a pet. Muhammad Ivan bought the newborn crocodile from fishermen in 1997 for $2 Australian. Now, more than 2 decades later, it still lives with them in their home and has become a true family favorite. Sea snakes usually avoid people, but when searching for a mate, they become very active and potentially aggressive. I don't know what this man was feeling at the moment when the snake almost climbed onto his board. It was very dangerous.